Hi, I do believe that everyone will get used to the vocab of e-learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, so our topic to discuss today that we want to present is the e-learning readiness. Hi, my name is Ng Chun Xiong. I'm from SAK Chaff. And I do have three other partners, which are Danish, Nabila, and Nor Zakia. Begin with the background of study. The quick growth of information technology has impacted the modern educational system. The e-learning has evolved into a new paradigm of contemporary education because of the internet and networks' explosive development in popularity. The e-learning programs is to build out their ICT infrastructure to the point where they can provide students a top-notch e-learning platform. All the public and private institutions in Malaysia will perform instructional activities through the online learning until the December 2020, according to the statement from the Ministry of Higher Education. The distant learning techniques are being used by an increasing number of public and private colleges to provide academic programs remotely or to assist their full-time students on campus. The rapid use of technology by university students, undeniable cause of the COVID-19 pandemic. Most institutions of higher learning today has approached computer laboratories with wireless high-speed internet connective and some wireless mobile computing capabilities. More than 80% of schools using e-learning to offer learning content in one of the most widely used teaching and learning methods. To present the problem statement, then many global institutions have made e-learning available throughout the last 2 decades. However, most schools, colleges, and universities do not adopt this form of teaching. Make use of practical models that are based on cognitive, emotional behavior, and involvement. Online research must be effective, built for teaching, and pedagogically sound. Researchers need to know how does e-learning would affect the performance of students and the result. The reason of conduct this research because of in this modern culture, on-demand learning has become a way of life. More and more people tend to participate in the online education system because they believe that online learning makes it easier for them to obtain information and internet connection. And internet connection must be accessible and readily available. During a pandemic, e-learning technology is critical alternative and traditional classroom setting. Online learning is insufficient for undergraduate students and instructors who are not computer literate and do not know how to use the internet.
For the scope of the study focused on the factor of e-learning execution on student academic achievement at local university in Malaysia. This e-learning execution is focused for students from different universities in Malaysia. There are several universities that have been selected to conduct this study. Since Malaysia was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, institutions such as university and school had to be closed to prevent the spread of the pandemic. And since then, learning had to be conducted online and students are also exposed to online learning. So this study was conducted to find out the extent to which the implementation of online learning affect the level of academic achievement of university students and why online learning needs to be carried out. The scope of the study is limited to 384 respondents between the age of 19 and above. who's still a student to the university, and that we collect the data. This analysis period will last for a maximum of 2 months and will end when either 384 respondents have been answering the questionnaire or 2 months have passed. Each respondent to the study will be asked to complete a short questionnaire to evaluate their evaluation. The method that we use to collect the data is by using questionnaire. Questionnaire method is a study instrument that include the chain of question of the reason for data or information to be collected. Significance of the study. Alois Caranto and David said, students are the main source of college. The performance of students is very important in producing high-quality graduates that will serve awesome pioneers who led the country and its consequences for the state employees. Although online learning is one of the good alternatives, there are also some problems that need to be addressed if using online learning methods, such as the cost that we need for the internet, a comfortable place to study, and there are students who lack knowledge in the use of technology, and this will make it difficult for them to learn online. The importance of this study also aims to evaluate the academic performance of students who study online. We want to evaluate whether learning online can further improve academic achievement for a student or not. Maybe most of the students will perform better in learning online than in class. However, there are still those who prefer to learn face-to-face. Although learning cannot be carried out face-to-face, online learning also has benefits that we get, such as the evaluation of using the technology. With this, we will find the student will be more literate in the use of IT and more advanced with the times. In addition, with online learning, we do not need to use a vehicle to go to class. In addition, it can reduce air pollution from vehicle smoke. Other factors that cause online learning to be implemented are such as institutional support, online learning satisfaction, and student characteristics.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nabila binti Ramli. My metric number is A19B1077. So today I will go for the definition of term. The first one is online learning. As we know that online learning refers to the use of computer network technology, primarily over or through the internet, to provide individuals with information and instructions. It is according to Wang 2010. Other than that, according to Dudestat 2002, online learning is used in study environment to learn with a special emphasis on the web to describe a wide range of electronic technology applications, including television, radio, cell phone, internet, and many more. So the second one is learning readiness. The meaning of learning readiness is the degree of concentration and eagerness to learn among the students. According to Hayden 2008, learning readiness implies a level of particular mindedness and excitement to do something. The student readiness is that individual state of student where he or she is physically, mentally, and emotionally ready to learn. The third one is local universities. As we know that local universities are the public universities that are academic institutions, state-owned and funded by the government. In Malaysia, there are 20 public universities in Malaysia funded by the government but governed as self-managed institutions. The universities including University of Malaya, University of Science Malaysia, National University of Malaysia, International Islamic University Malaysia, and many more. Next, we go for the organization of the proposal. The study is structured into 5 chapters as follows. Chapter 1 provided a synopsis of the research proposition and research process. It provides a concise analysis of the research background, problem statements, research questions, research objectives, study scope, study significance, and definition of terms used in the study. Chapter 2 concentrates on a review of the literature. The purpose of this review was help to researchers understand the effects of online learning readiness among the local universities in Malaysia. It aided the researcher in understanding the critical issues of the study area and provided deep insight into the study. It also examines each case study organization and the relationship and focus on research context and clarifies the research frameworks. Chapter 3 deals with research methodology, research design, and data collection methods. It also includes the study population, sample size, and sampling techniques used in study. These chapters also discuss the development of research instruments, measurement of variables, and data analysis procedures. Chapter 4 in this research will discuss and briefly describe the researchers' data collection results. To obtain the study results for further analysis, the researchers analyze the data collected using the statistical package for social science version SPSS. And the last one is chapter 5 concludes in this report. The main research results were discussed and interpreted, and the study results were presented in the context of how online learning readiness affects the student academic achievement at the local university in Malaysia. The study implication and the limits were also evaluated. Also, the recommendations for further research ends in this chapter.
A very good morning, sir. My name is Dunish Anandan and my metric number is A1980116. Today I would like to present about the chapter 2 introduction. So the chapter will give a review of the literature on the factors that influence e-learning implementation on student academic attainment at Malaysian universities. This literature review will be obtained from the publication, where the researcher will contribute to the factors found in the article. As a result, this chapter will provide a more detailed description and explanation of the dependent variable and independent variable. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Next, in this chapter 2, we have underpinning theory. This underpinning theory in this chapter, we use the technology acceptance model, which is TAM, that has been proven to be a theoretical model to explain students' acceptance of online learning. Technology acceptance model TAM was founded to be used in many studies to explain the user's perceived acceptance of technology. According to Liu, Liao, and Peng in 2005, found the contracts in TAM could explain continuous intention in the context of education. Hence, TAM is more appropriate to be applied in online context because of TAM is specific on information systems usage for applying the concept of ease and use and the perceived usefulness. In Malaysia, there are many studies use TAM as a model for investigating the factors that influence students' acceptance for online learning in higher education institution. This is according to Wong, Tiu, and Russo. TAM also has gained considerable support in understanding and managing the process of new technology adoption, according to Chen, Lian, and Ye. In 2007. The core idea of TAM is that users' acceptance of technology is determined by his or her behavioral intention. TAM also suggests that users formulate a positive attitude towards technology when they perceive it to be useful and easy to use. So, in this underpinning theory, we use TAM as our theory.
For the previous study, we collect the IVDV from the previous article that we found. Firstly, the evaluation of use of technology. The information and communication technology (ICT) is a growing new technology and is a key tool in today's learning system. ICT is known as an indispensable tool or method for advancing teaching and quality system for learning and education. A new set of vocabulary used was created using ICT for education to explain new approaches to learning and curriculum transfer, which include e-teaching, e-learning, e-tech, e-card, whiteboard, and web classroom, which are facilitated via the internet. Said Adelabu, Adu, and Adjogri said, the existence of the internet has provided a way to use an electronic education known as e-learning, which is the process of teaching and learning using computer via internet. The ICT usage in education, especially distance learning, is reshaping the entire university organizational structure and changing 4 key areas of education such as curriculum, role of teachers and students, organizational structure and learning environment has been resolved after the observation of the introduction of ICT in education.
Next, we also recorded the hypothesis statement in our research. So, to examine whether there is a relationship between the independent variables towards the academic achievement. So, here are the following hypotheses that are developed. Hypothesis 1, there is a significantly positive relationship between students' characteristics and academic achievement of local university students in Malaysia. Hypothesis number 2, there is a significantly positive relationship between the evaluation of use of technology and the academic achievement of local university students in Malaysia. And the hypothesis 3, there is a significantly positive relationship between the institutional support and the academic achievement of local university students in Malaysia. Next is the hypothesis number 4, that there is also a significant positive relationship between the online interaction and the academic achievement of local universities students in Malaysia. The last one is hypothesis number 5. There is a significantly positive relationship between perceived usefulness and the academic achievement of the local universities in Malaysia.
I'm going to talk about the conceptual framework. The study purpose pedagogy framework for evaluating online learning in Malaysia. It also seeks to create assessments criteria for e-learning in Malaysia's public sectors, not only personal as expert knowledge, learning content, and teacher-students connection. E-learning is considered as a strategy for increasing the number of students in higher education system, particularly for minority groups and informal setting. First of all, I'm going to talk about the relationship between academic achievement and student characteristic. Self-efficiency is the student's confidence in their ability to learn and successfully complete the course. The characteristic that influence community college and virtual high school students to choose online or traditional course formats. The second, relationship between academic achievement and evaluation of use of technology. The cost of using this technology, how to assist them, and the languages in which they are available. The importance of technology in education is evolving all the time. Computers and technology may spark the aspiration of forward-thinking educators when utilized efficiently. Third, the relationship between the academic achievement and instructional support. Student success in e-learning is determined by better support service, and instructional support plays a large role in explaining satisfaction. Again, I'm going to present the research method introduction part. This research used a Google Form online survey to investigate the efficiency of e-learning among Malaysian students. Researchers was asked to answer all the questions on the use of the e-learning, including their impressions on it. Based on their comments, their evaluation of the efficiency of e-learning were evaluated using Google Sheet. The poll investigates how well liked electronic portal are among students. The sample was chosen because it represents a group of persons who experience utilizing e-learning portal and gaining access to material, and respondents were picked at random. The findings were retrieved from the distributes surveys using SPSS system. Data was collected from all the public university students using a cluster sample and an equitable truth design. Researchers' checks were also undertaken to ultimate the chance of misinterpreting the meaning of the participants' interpretations.
3.2 Research design. A research design is essentially a study plan that describes the methods that researchers must follow in order to achieve their research aims or test the hypotheses offered for their investigation. The exploratory research design will be used by the researchers to conduct the investigation. This is significant, and the goal of the study is to determine the relationship between the elements that influence e-learning implementation and student academic achievement at Malaysian universities. As a result, in order to get more knowledge, the research must collect more information related to the aims. So, quantitative research is the process of collecting and interpreting numerical data. It can be used to find trends and average, making projections, evaluate causal relationships, and generalize the results on large groups. In the study, researcher will utilize this quantitative method to access the feedback from respondents by distributing questionnaires online in order to obtain information and data that influence the variables. So following that, the statistical analysis of the data focuses on the hypothesis in order to create an offer spot for the conclusion. For the data collection method, the process of data collecting, it means of acquiring information from the relevant sources to uncover the answers to the research question, test the hypothesis, analysis the results. So the data collection methods and are classified in two types: primary data collection methods and secondary data collection methods. The study may employ both primary and secondary data collection methods in this study. So for the primary data collection method, are classified into two types: qualitative data collection and quantitative data collection. So quantitative data collection methods are based on statistical and analyze techniques such as closed-ended questionnaires, correlation and regression approaches, mean, mode, and median, and others. Furthermore, because the approach to quantitative methodology is very standardized, it is simple to compare the results. So the researcher employs the quantitative data collection strategy in the study. So for the secondary data collection method, has been previously published in books, newspapers, periodicals, journals, and websites. There are numerous sites that provide a wealth of data about this topic, research in business studies and all. So previous researchers frequently use the method of library study as their secondary method of acquiring data for the research, which includes magazines, newspapers, documents, literature, review of previous studies, journals, statistical analysis, and so on. So the researcher is collecting data from both primary and secondary sources in this study. So the research will utilize Google Forms to distribute the questionnaires. For primary data collection, the research is Google Scholar to obtain data and previous studies for the secondary data collections strategy. That's all.
In this chapter 3, we have the study population. As we know that a population in research terminology refers to a massive gathering or collection of individuals or objects that are the main focus points for any certain set of specific scientific study. As a result, a population may be defined as a collection of linked people by a common characteristic. This is according to Momo 2021. So in this research, the researcher determines the study population of local university students in Malaysia by referring to the data in the table 3.1. Hence, the total of study population for this research is 584,576.
For the sample size refer to the number of participants or observation included in a study. In the sample size, 384 estimated students represent the whole population in this research. According to Clancy and Morgan 1970, a minimum of 384 respondents will be enough to represent 584,000 undergraduates statistically. The size of the sample has been drawn from the population. Sampling is the process of selection of a subset of individuals from the population to estimate the characteristic of the whole population. The number of entities in a subset of a population is selected for analysis. For sampling technique, the method of selecting a sample through a population is meant by sampling. As for the sampling method, it contains two types of sampling, namely probability and non-probability sampling method. Probability sampling technique will be used for this research study. Probability sampling means that every member of the population has a chance of being selected. It is mainly used in quantitative research. If we want to produce results that are representative of the whole population, probability sampling technique are the most valid choice. Probability sampling use random sampling technique to construct or create a sample. Based on this method, 384 respondents were selected from other universities. Among the factors why this technique is used is because of the situation-based probability that each member of each population has a known chance and several opportunities to choose from.
We move to the next point, which is the research instrument development. So the researcher used an online questionnaire, which is Google Form, to collect the data that consists of a network of questions and the other measure to collect the data from the population of local university students in Malaysia. The questionnaire for this study is constructed based on the research needs. Furthermore, the questionnaire will conduct online as it is easier for the respondent to access. So there are 5 parts in the questionnaire, which is part A, B, C and D. Part A, B, C, D and E. So part A will cover about the demographic components of the respondent, which is the age, gender, education level. Part A will also be consisting of open-ended questions that needs to be answered accordingly. Next is part B. Part B is to answer the first research question and to achieve the first objective of this research. This part will be using 5 points of Likert scale to get the answer from the respondents. Part C is to answer the first research question and to achieve the first objective of this research, which is to investigate the positive relationship between student characteristics and the online learning readiness towards local university students in Malaysia. This part also will be using 5-point Likert scale to get the answer from the respondents. Part D is to answer the first research question and to achieve the first objective of this research, which is to investigate the positive relationship between evaluation of use of technology and the online learning readiness towards the local universities in Malaysia. This part will be using also 5-point Likert scale to get the answer from the respondent. So the last one is part E. Part E is to answer the first research question and to achieve the first objective of this research, which is to investigate the positive relationship between the flexibility of place and between the perceived usefulness and the online learning readiness towards local university student in Malaysia. This part also will be using 5-point Likert scale to get the answer from the respondents. That's all.
Measurement of the variable. The level of measurement helps us decide how to interpret the data from the variable. Knowing the level of measurement of our variable is important for two reasons. This in turn can influence the conclusion of the study, especially when we attempt to describe the relationship between variables in the study. Variables are measured at 4 levels. Each of the level measurement provides a different level of detail. Nominal provides the least amount of detail. Ordinal provides the next higher amount of detail. And interval and ratio provide the most amount of detail. In this project, we also use interval scale to measure the variable for quantitative research. Interval variable give the most precise measurement, and interval communicate exact difference between unit of analysis. The precision of an interval level measurement enable us to calculate the precise difference between two units analysis. Other than that, we also use ratio variables. Ratio variables are also measured on a continuum and have a numerical value. Interval and ratio variable are known as continuous or quantitative variable because they are numerical value. A research study often includes different combination of this variable.
I'm going to present the procedure for data analysis. Data should be arranged around each study topic concerning networks can be created to provide the data temporal content in addition to participants and answer networks. There are highlight similarities and contrasts. For interviews, individual participant versus respond or group versus respond only networks were developed in earlier research that are comparable to the ones described for the objective. List the conclusion part. The data collection for this project will be carried out using dependable and well-established quantitative procedures to meet the research objective and obtain more accurate data from academics at the local university, which is a public university. The personalization in e-learning is the integration of practice, methodologies, and technologies that give students access to self-learning resource that will enable them to study in accordance with their individual aptitudes, learning preference, background, and talents. Every person has their own unique preference, sequential habits, and learning style. So yeah, that's all from our group SAK 12. Thank you for your all years.